unbelievable news when it comes to votes and how people can manipulate the law to get more voters on the roll. And I don't think it's for the conservatives. Now, what am I talking about? Let's jump into it today, because this will blow your mind. No matter how bad you think it could be, no matter how much you think people are going to support Trump because of all the things that are going wrong and all the polls show him leading, I want to give you something that will blow your mind, that could change everything. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like the content. If you don't, that's okay, give us a thumbs down, but tell us what you think about the video in the comments below. Now, our goal is to hopefully always share good things to help you gain wisdom, to seek a more common sense approach to living in this chaotic world, especially in America right now. Everything has went wrong. People can't buy homes. Inflation interest is crazy. People are losing jobs. Unemployment is higher than it's ever been now. They can spend it all they want, but ultimately all that's reflected on the more jobs gained and the less unemployment is dealing with federal government providing jobs, not the private sector. So there's a lot going on, and I can honestly say there's no way you can tell me that you're better off now than you were under the last administration. So everything is swinging towards Trump winning. Well, this may change everything. It's amazing we have to have an ID to drive the truck, to drive the car, to buy liquor, to buy a Second Amendment self-defense tool, to literally go into an airport, even down to the automobiles, the houses, to rent, all has to have some kind of ID. However, this country is made up of people who vote for really the leader of America, but the leader of the free world, and we make it where you don't have to have an ID. Why this is a bad thing? I want to give you 3 numbers that just came out, and this could cause a major problem for conservatives, real conservatives, and Trump supporters. Not these rhinos, but I want you to listen to this. The numbers of voters registering without a photo ID has skyrocketed in 3 states. Listen to the states. Since the start of 2024, now we're talking, this is what, April 3rd, Texas, 1.25 million people have registered to vote. Pennsylvania, 580,000 has registered to vote. Arizona, 220,000 has registered to vote. Now listen to this. Illegals are not able to get licensed there, meaning they don't have to have a license to register to vote. So people are like, oh, well, how do you know if they're citizens or not? I want you to listen. The program that a lot of these people are on, it allows them to register for a social security number. Does that not blow your mind, for one thing? So a lot of the programs that we offer people coming into our country through visas, through work permits, through refugee situations, we allow them the access to social security numbers. This will allow them, the way, I want you to listen to this, it's called HAVV. This will allow people to sign up to vote, and all they need is 4 digits of their social security number, the last 4 digits and their name, and they could be put on the rolls to vote for, I don't know, presidency. That's pretty important coming up in 2024, huh? It's amazing that Texas, which we called a red state for a long time, now it's become more purple, more purple, more purple. If this state turns blue, there will be no more conservatives or Republicans even win the presidency. This is the ultimate plan. And this is why I say, if you don't protect the border, all you're doing is just putting the last nail in the casket when it comes to America and its blessings, its freedom, and its goodness. We are making a mockery of the freedoms we have and the ones who founded this country. It says that now we've learned that over 2 million voters have registered without a voter ID. All they needed was 4 numbers off a social security card that they could easily access to get a worker's permit. Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Texas now are those states, and they have become now not only swing states, but leaning blue with the registration. Now, right now, Trump is leading in the polls. But if you think that in 4 months, actually 3 months, because we just started April, 1.2 million people have been signed up just in Texas. Just think if they get that every 3 to 4 months before an election. 3 to 4 million new voters in Texas would swing the state blue. Now, this is where I struggle when I see Texas as a whole, because there's a lot of Republicans that represent Texas that are not as conservative as they should be, and especially because Texas is they are an independent country inside a country, meaning they have the GDP, they have the economy, they have everything they need to support themselves and be sustainable. They are a state that is neighboring not the volatile South, but the fact of third world country and entry that is pretty much open borders to their lands. And they're allowing this to happen. No voter ID, and all of a sudden they have registered 1.25 million just in 3 months. What about another 90 days? What about another 120 days? What's going to happen? Actually, they don't need Arizona and Pennsylvania if all of a sudden they flip Texas. You don't believe it can happen? What do you think people are going door to door and doing these voter rolls and doing these registrations, and then all of a sudden, all they need is them to mail in the votes? We have destroyed and made a mockery of our voting system. You know, I literally walked in to get a title for an old vehicle I bought the other day. And I presented the application for title, and they said, "Sir, I need 2 forms of ID." Now, I've been part of this local area for a long time. I've bought plenty of vehicles here. New lady was in the seat, so she needed to know that I was who I said I was. So I had to present 2 forms of ID to get a title registration for the state of Mississippi. However, we can allow people to vote with 4 digits and basically no voter ID, no 2 forms of authorization, to then give them the rights to make our country vote a certain way. That is unbelievable to me. This right here changes everything. Trump has more momentum than he ever had in 2016 and 2020. However, this right here, this could derail. This is how the uniparty is so good at being the uniparty and staying in power, because they know the loopholes, they know how to get around the common folk like us. And when you see the fact that 2 million people have been registered just in 3 months of 2024, this is not counting 2023, 2022, and all the efforts they've been doing there. But if all of a sudden we don't get proactive and start fixing this, you will never see a conservative, a populist, a libertarian, a Christian, or someone who just wants freedom ever lead our country ever again. This is bad news. Now, can we fix a lot of this? I'm not even in Texas. I'm not in Arizona. I'm not in Pennsylvania. But if you don't get out there and start making waves in this kind of talk, this is why I'm talking about it. I hope more people will share it. I hope more people will talk about it. It's trending on Twitter, but it needs to trend on everywhere. Because when we see voter registrations being fluffed up and we make voting a week, month, 2 months, 3 months long instead of 1 day, and making it happen right there in public with identification of who you are, it blows my mind. I can't even go to the store, and I'm not an alcoholic, I don't drink, but I can't even go to the store and buy a simple beer without showing ID. I can't buy a cigarette without showing an ID. That's unbelievable. But then we allow people to really ultimately change the election. What if all of a sudden I went to a convenience store and said, "Hey, I need a pack of Marlboros, or I need some Skull," and they said, "Well, sir, you got to show ID." Nah, I mean, here's 4 digits. I am older than 18, and they say, "Okay, we believe you. Here you go." We'd find that preposterous. Or if all of a sudden I wanted to go support my Second Amendment rights, which, you know what, record-breaking numbers, by the way, way to go Americans, of purchases last month. But if I wanted to go and say, "Look, I am who I say I am. I'm older than I'm supposed to be," you don't need any permits or licensures to show my identification. Just sell me one of those Glocks right there. We would think that's crazy, wouldn't we? but we're allowing it to happen, to set precedent and policy for America and for the free world, to elect the president who is going to lead us. And we allow people just to lackadaisically vote that way. Well, if all of a sudden we have one party allowing everybody in, don't you think that the most people that they're allowing in, they can easily set up to vote and help them get through the system and not have to worry about going through a 10-year process of legalization? If they get that Social Security and they get vote and they get the jobs and they get the free money, then who are they going to vote for? I doubt it's Trump. You know, I don't mind a Democrat winning. I don't mind a liberal winning. I don't mind a conservative winning. I think as long as it's fair and honest, I have no problem with it. We can't change everything. We understand that. But the lies, corruption, hypocrisy, it's so much that if we don't change it, there will be no America for our children. Pay attention. I bet no one's talking about these voter rolls on the legacy media or mainstream. 2 million new people in basically 90 days are voters. And I promise you they're not swinging towards conservatism. If you're in these states and you're in states that don't require voter ID, you better be talking to your representative, your local representatives. Don't worry about trying to call President Biden or send him email. Don't worry about the national side. It's on the state side. That's how they know they can beat you, because if they can control the states and manipulate the local governments to not enforce voter ID and photo ID and being a citizen, then they know that they've won. They don't have to worry about the laws in Mississippi, because if they get Texas, who cares what Mississippi does? Because the electoral process doesn't matter, because Texas just switched, and now that whole electoral college is now in the leftist camp in the blue states, and now there will never be another Republican president. That is unbelievable. So I'm not trying to get all mad this morning, but what I'm saying is, if we don't wake up to the fact that just because we hear the polls are trending towards Trump, just because we hear that conservatism is winning because the pendulum is swinging, then you see there is some backdoor stuff going on, some shady stuff going on, and that sets policy, and that can change the future for your children. So you wonder why I prepare. You wonder why I push people each and every day to focus on taking care of their families and trying to seek wisdom, and why they should lean on Christ. Because we live in a corrupt system, and if we don't try to fix it, or we at least don't try to take care of our family, and we then become subservient to this corrupt system, then we are just sheep being led to the slaughter. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Is this crazy or what? 2 million new voters, majority in Texas, are new registered with no voter ID, only with 4 digits of a Social Security number that people who come into this country illegally can easily obtain. And we've given them all access to do it. And now we are putting the last nail, skapow, in the coffin. Let me know your thoughts. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.